Have you ever felt like no one truly understands your struggles? Like you're carrying a heavy burden that others can't see? What if I told you that the pain you feel isn't random, it's a sign that you're different, special, set apart? But here's the twist. Narcissists also experience similar battles, yet their pain leads them down a completely different path. So what makes the difference? Why do chosen ones suffer in silence while narcissists seek attention? Why are both targeted by life's toughest tests, but only one grows stronger? And how can you tell which path you're really on? This is not just another video. This is a deep dive into the hidden struggles that most people never talk about. If you've ever felt isolated, betrayed, or constantly tested, stay with me till the end, because the truth might just change everything for you. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why you're going through what you're going through and how to use it to your advantage. But before we begin, let's build something bigger together. Join our community of awakened souls who understand what it means to walk this path. Drop a "I'm chosen" in the comments if you resonate with this journey. Show love, stay connected, and let's uncover the truth together. Now let's dive in, because this knowledge will set you free. There are people who move through life without questioning much. They accept things as they are, follow the crowd, and never wonder if there's something more beyond what they see. But then there are those who feel different. Maybe you're one of them. You notice things others ignore. You feel emotions more deeply. You sense energies in a room before anyone speaks. While others accept the surface level of life, you see beyond it into patterns, hidden truths, and deeper meanings. At first, this might feel like a gift. You see beauty in the small things, understand people in ways they don't even understand themselves, and feel a strong connection to something greater. But over time, you realize not everyone thinks this way, not everyone wants to see what you see. And that's when the isolation begins. Have you ever felt like you're living in a different reality, one that others can't understand? You try to explain your thoughts, but people look at you like you're speaking another language. You talk about purpose, energy, or the deeper meaning of life, and they dismiss it as overthinking. While others focus on trends and distractions, you wonder why no one questions why we're here, what our mission is, or why life feels like a series of lessons. And this can feel lonely, frustrating, like you're walking a road where few will ever follow. But here's the truth: you were never meant to fit in. The ones who see beyond the illusion are not here to blend with the world. They are here to change it. Their pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. They are being shaped, tested, and refined, not because they are weak, but because they have a mission greater than themselves. So if you feel different, if you feel like no one else truly gets you, remember this: it's because you were born to see what others are blind to. And that is not a burden. It's your power. Life throws challenges at everyone. But have you ever noticed that some people grow stronger through their struggles, while others become more bitter and destructive? This is especially true for chosen ones and narcissists, two groups that often face the same battles but end up on completely different paths. Both experience betrayal, isolation, emotional pain, and deep spiritual struggles. Both feel misunderstood, targeted, and tested in ways others don't. But here's where everything changes. Chosen ones transform their pain into wisdom. Narcissists use it as a weapon. The battle of the soul. A chosen one takes pain as a lesson. They feel deeply, reflect, and grow from their experiences. If someone betrays them, they learn to set boundaries. If they are isolated, they use the time to heal and strengthen their spirit. Every hardship refines them, shaping them into something greater. A narcissist, on the other hand, refuses to learn. Instead of healing, they hold on to pain and turn it into resentment. If they are betrayed, they seek revenge. If they feel isolated, they manipulate others to fill the emptiness inside. They don't grow. They repeat the same toxic patterns, blaming everyone else for their struggles. Why does this happen? The difference is in the heart. A chosen one's suffering humbles them. They understand their pain has a purpose, and they seek wisdom, love, and inner peace. They may struggle, but they always rise. A narcissist's suffering feeds their ego. They refuse to look within, choosing instead to blame, control, and manipulate. Instead of rising, they drag others down. Both face the same storms, but only one learns to dance in the rain. So the question is, which path will you choose? Some people go through life with ease. They never seem to face deep struggles, betrayals, or the kind of pain that shakes the soul. But then there are those like you, the ones who seem to carry a heavier burden than most. The ones who ask, why is my journey so difficult? Why do I suffer while others seem untouched? You are not imagining it. Your suffering is not random. Every pain you've faced, every betrayal, every rejection, every silent battle has been part of something greater. Something few will ever understand, because you were never meant to walk an ordinary path. There is a reason why you have been tested more than others, why your heart is deeper, your emotions stronger, your experiences heavier. The universe, God, or destiny, whatever you believe in, has been preparing you, refining you, shaping you into something far greater than you can see right now. But here's what will shake you. Your suffering is proof of who you are. Weak souls are not tested this way. Ordinary people are not given these battles. But those who are meant for something greater, they are broken down, stripped of illusions, and pushed to their limits, not to destroy them, but to awaken them. The truth is, your suffering has never been a punishment. It has been a process, a transformation, a divine fire that burns away everything that no longer serves you, leaving behind only what is real, powerful, and unshakable. So if you've ever felt cursed by your struggles, understand this. You are not cursed. You are being called. There is a deep difference between being isolated and choosing to be alone. Many people confuse the two, but for chosen ones and narcissists, this contrast reveals everything about their path. Chosen ones are isolated by life itself. Their journey often forces them into solitude, not because they want to be alone, but because their mission requires it. They are removed from toxic people, false connections, and meaningless distractions. This isolation is painful, but it serves a purpose. It is in this solitude that they heal, grow, and prepare for their divine calling. Narcissists, on the other hand, choose loneliness out of superiority. They push people away because they believe no one is good enough for them. They see themselves as above others, refusing to form genuine connections. Their loneliness is not a test, it's a consequence of their inability to love and accept others as equals. The purpose of isolation. For chosen ones, isolation is a time of transformation. They go through deep self-reflection, strengthening their spirit and receiving wisdom that cannot be found in the noise of the world. This is why so many great spiritual leaders, prophets, and visionaries spent time in solitude before stepping into their purpose. For narcissists, self-imposed loneliness is a shield. They avoid relationships that require emotional depth. They surround themselves only with people who worship them or feed their ego, but when those people no longer serve them, they discard them, choosing to remain alone rather than face the truth of their own emptiness. Same circumstance, different outcome. Both experience loneliness, but for one, it is a spiritual process. For the other, it is an ego trap. A chosen one's isolation leads to wisdom, healing, and purpose. A narcissist's loneliness leads to bitterness, control, and emptiness. One emerges stronger, the other remains stuck. So the real question is, are you being isolated for growth, or are you isolating yourself out of fear? Betrayal is one of the deepest wounds a person can experience. It shakes trust, breaks relationships, and leaves scars that may never fully fade. But here's the harsh truth. Betrayal is inevitable. If you walk through life with an open heart, if you trust, love, and care deeply, at some point, someone will betray you. Both chosen ones and narcissists experience betrayal, often in painful and life-altering ways. But the difference lies in how they respond to it. One sees it as a painful lesson that leads to growth, while the other refuses to learn and keeps repeating the same cycles. Why betrayal always finds the chosen ones? Chosen ones often wonder, why does betrayal keep happening to me? Why do I attract people who hurt me? The answer is simple, because you have a pure heart. People with kind, giving, and empathetic souls naturally attract two types of people. Those who appreciate them and cherish their presence. Those who seek to use them, drain them, and take advantage of their light. Unfortunately, narcissists, manipulators, and selfish people are often drawn to chosen ones like moths to a flame. They see kindness as weakness. They see trust as an opportunity. And because chosen ones tend to believe in the goodness of others, they often ignore the warning signs until it's too late. But here's what makes chosen ones different. They learn. Each betrayal, no matter how painful, teaches them something. They begin to recognize patterns, set boundaries, and develop discernment. They don't let betrayal turn them into bitter, hateful people. Instead, they become wiser, stronger, and more selective about who they let into their lives. The narcissist's cycle of betrayal. Narcissists also experience betrayal, but they never learn from it. They see themselves as victims, blaming everyone else while refusing to look within. Unlike chosen ones, narcissists often cause their own betrayals. Their relationships are built on control, selfishness, and manipulation. They don't connect with people on a deep level because they fear vulnerability. Instead, they use others for validation, power, or personal gain. And when their partners, friends, or even family members finally see through them and walk away, the narcissist feels betrayed. But rather than reflecting on their actions, they become angry, vengeful, and desperate to regain control. They jump into new relationships, repeat the same toxic behaviors, and end up betrayed again, over and over. Same experience, different outcome. Both chosen ones and narcissists experience deep betrayals, but they take two completely different paths afterward. A chosen one learns, heals, and evolves. A narcissist blames, repeats, and stays stuck. A chosen one uses betrayal as a tool for growth. They may be hurt, but they take time to reflect, to see where they ignored red flags, and to understand the lessons behind the pain. They don't let betrayal define them, they let it refine them. A narcissist, however, refuses to grow. They keep playing the same game, attracting the same toxic relationships, and falling into the same painful endings. They never take responsibility, which means they never change. Breaking the cycle. Betrayal is one of the greatest tests life throws at us. It reveals who we truly are. Will you let it break you or build you? Will you let it turn you into someone cold and bitter or someone wise and discerning? The choice is yours. But remember this. Only those strong enough to survive betrayal are meant for something greater. And if you're learning, growing, and refusing to repeat the past, you are already on the right path. Emotional sensitivity is both a gift and a burden. Some people feel the world more deeply, absorbing the energy of those around them, sensing emotions that others overlook, and experiencing life with an intensity that can be overwhelming. For chosen ones, This deep sensitivity is a sign of their divine connection. It allows them to understand, heal, and guide others. However, narcissists also recognize the power of emotions, but instead of feeling deeply, they manipulate emotions to control others. This is where the two paths sharply divide. Chosen ones have an unmatched emotional depth. They don't just hear words, they feel the emotions behind them. When someone is in pain, they instinctively know. When someone is hiding their true feelings, they sense the unspoken emotions. This is why people often come to them for advice, comfort, and guidance. Their presence alone has a healing effect because they genuinely care. Their hearts are open, and their empathy is real. However, this deep connection to emotions comes at a price. Chosen ones often absorb the pain of others, carrying burdens that are not their own. They feel emotions so intensely that the suffering of the world can become their own. This sensitivity can make them easy targets for those who do not share the same depth of feeling. Narcissists, on the other hand, do not feel emotions the same way. They observe emotions, study them, and learn how to use them as tools for control. They recognize that emotions drive people's actions, so they use charm, guilt, and manipulation to get what they want. Unlike chosen ones, they are not overwhelmed by the emotions of others. They are detached from them. Their sensitivity is not about understanding or connection, it is about strategy. They know what to say to make someone trust them, they understand how to exploit kindness, and they use emotions as weapons to maintain control. The key difference between a chosen one and a narcissist is intention. A chosen one feels emotions deeply because they are meant to bring healing, wisdom, and compassion into the world. Their sensitivity is a gift that allows them to uplift and guide others. A narcissist, however, views emotions as a tool for personal gain. They do not feel deeply, they manipulate deeply. They use emotional sensitivity not to connect, but to deceive, ensuring that those around them remain under their influence. Because of their emotional depth, chosen ones often attract narcissists. The narcissist sees the chosen one's kindness and empathy as a weakness, something they can exploit. They feed off the emotional energy of the chosen one, drawing them into toxic relationships that leave them drained and questioning their worth. The chosen one, because of their deep sensitivity, may struggle to see the truth at first. They may believe they can heal or change the narcissist, but eventually they learn. They realize that not everyone deserves their energy, and they begin to set boundaries. This is when the real transformation happens. In life, we all face struggles. Some battles are visible, others invisible. For chosen ones, these invisible struggles often feel like spiritual wars. They fight unseen forces that aim to derail them from their divine mission. These battles, though incredibly challenging, are essential to their growth and evolution. Narcissists, on the other hand, engage in their own set of invisible battles, fueled by ego and self-centered desires. Their internal conflicts often arise from insecurity, fear, and the need to maintain control rather than the higher calling experienced by the chosen ones. The spiritual battles of the chosen ones. Chosen ones are often called to a path that is not easy. They are sensitive to the spiritual realm, and this connection can expose them to unseen forces that try to derail their purpose. These forces could be internal, such as self-doubt and fear, or external, such as envy, jealousy, and spiritual attacks from others who do not understand or support their mission. Spiritual attacks for the chosen one often manifest as persistent negative thoughts, feelings of being lost, or being targeted by people who seek to hinder their progress. These attacks may not always be physical, they can come in the form of emotional pain, betrayal, or situations that challenge their faith. But these trials are not without purpose. Chosen ones are strengthened by these spiritual challenges. Each battle helps refine their soul, pushing them closer to their higher purpose. In many cases, the chosen one's mission is so powerful that it threatens negative forces that thrive on fear, darkness, and negativity. That is why they often find themselves in intense battles that others may not understand. These battles are not meant to break them. They are meant to help them step into their power, sharpen their wisdom, and fulfill their divine purpose. The ego-fueled conflicts of the narcissist. In contrast, narcissists also face battles, but these are entirely driven by their ego. The conflict isn't spiritual in nature. It's rooted in insecurity and the need to protect their inflated sense of self. Narcissists constantly fight to preserve their image, their sense of superiority, and their control over others. They live in a world where everything is a competition, and anyone who challenges their sense of self-worth becomes a threat. The narcissist's inner battle often stems from the fear of being exposed or feeling inadequate. They may not be consciously aware of their vulnerability, but deep down they constantly feel like they are not enough. As a result, they engage in conflicts with others out of pride, jealousy, and a desperate need for validation. Instead of facing spiritual warfare, their conflicts are rooted in their desire to dominate, manipulate, and maintain power. Every confrontation is about proving they are superior rather than learning, growing, or evolving. Narcissists may seek to destroy or control those who they feel are a threat to their image. Their battles are centered around ego, pride, and the fear of being seen for who they really are. Unlike the chosen one, whose struggles help elevate them to a higher purpose, the narcissist's struggles only serve to reinforce their delusions of grandeur and their need to control others. The key difference: purpose versus pride. The main difference between the chosen one's spiritual battles and the narcissist's ego-driven conflicts lies in purpose. Chosen ones fight invisible forces that help them grow spiritually, advance in their purpose, and ultimately help others. Their battles are part of a higher calling and are meant to align them with a greater good. Narcissists, on the other hand, fight invisible battles rooted in pride and insecurity. Their conflicts are fueled by a need to maintain control, protect their fragile ego, and dominate others. They see every interaction as a power struggle, and their battles rarely lead to growth or self-improvement. Instead, they remain stuck in a cycle of manipulation and self-doubt. While the chosen one's battles lead to wisdom, peace, and a deeper connection with their purpose, the narcissist's battles lead to a deeper sense of isolation, emptiness, and dysfunction. The chosen one evolves through their spiritual battles, whereas the narcissist remains trapped in a cycle of ego-driven conflict. Understanding the unseen struggles. It's important to understand that not all battles are visible. The most important conflicts often take place within us, in our hearts, minds, and spirits. For those walking a path of higher purpose, these unseen struggles are what shape and define them. They test their faith, resilience, and determination to stay true to their mission. In life, some individuals seem to radiate an inner light. Whether it's their kindness, wisdom, or ability to inspire others, they stand out. These are the chosen ones, individuals with a higher purpose who shine with a light that others can feel, even if they don't fully understand it. Unfortunately, this light is often viewed as a threat by darker forces, whether they come in the form of negative people, internal struggles, or unseen spiritual battles. Chosen ones are targeted because their very presence disrupts the darkness around them. The essence of a chosen one's existence is to bring light into dark places. They are meant to heal, uplift, and provide hope to those who are lost or suffering. Their light, whether it's through compassion, wisdom, or simply their genuine nature, acts as a beacon to others. But just as a light attracts moths, it also attracts shadows. The light of the chosen one threatens those who prefer to stay in darkness, Those who are comfortable in their negativity or darkness feel uncomfortable when the chosen one enters their space because they cannot stand to see someone challenge the status quo. Why do chosen ones become targets? Chosen ones are often chosen because of their ability to bring positive change, to raise the vibration around them, and to challenge the negative energies that hold people back. This creates a ripple effect, one that can deeply affect others even if they aren't ready for the change. When the chosen one enters a room, their light forces others to confront what is hidden. For those who are living in darkness, this can be deeply unsettling. Darkness, whether in the form of negativity, manipulation, or toxic behavior, thrives on keeping people in the dark about their potential. It keeps people stuck in cycles of fear, self-doubt, and low energy. When the chosen one enters the picture, this carefully constructed darkness is challenged. Their very presence exposes the truth, and for many this is uncomfortable. For some, it's unbearable. This is why chosen ones are targeted. The light they carry disrupts the patterns of control and negativity that others are comfortable with. They challenge the false narratives people tell themselves about who they are, what they can achieve, and the life they deserve. The darkness fights back by attempting to dim their light, by making them doubt their purpose, or by creating chaos in their lives to derail them from their mission. In life, we all carry the weight of experiences. Some are personal, others are passed down through generations. These are known as karmic lessons and karmic cycles. Karmic lessons are those that we are meant to learn, grow from, and evolve through, often breaking free from destructive patterns of the past. The chosen ones are those who rise to the occasion, facing these karmic lessons head-on and using them to break generational curses, freeing themselves and others from cycles of suffering. On the other hand, narcissists remain trapped in karmic cycles, endlessly repeating destructive behaviors without true growth or understanding. The chosen one's journey, breaking generational curses. The journey of the chosen one is often marked by the deep recognition of patterns that have plagued their family or community for generations. These patterns may be seen in addiction, poverty, abuse, or unresolved emotional pain. The chosen one is aware of these destructive cycles and feels a deep calling to break them, not just for themselves, but for future generations. Unlike others who may remain stuck in the same destructive cycles, the chosen one has a higher purpose. They have the strength and spiritual awareness to see that these karmic lessons are opportunities for growth. By facing their own struggles and working to heal themselves, they break free from the limitations of the past. This is not easy work. Often, the chosen one faces intense struggles and deep emotional wounds. However, their commitment to growth, healing, and spiritual awakening allows them to shift their karmic trajectory. In breaking generational curses, the chosen one becomes a spiritual leader or guide for those around them. They show others that it is possible to move beyond the mistakes of the past and build a future based on love, understanding, and spiritual connection. These lessons may be painful, but they become powerful tools for healing and growth. The chosen one's ability to break the cycle means they will not pass down the same negative traits, habits, or beliefs to future generations, allowing their family or community to rise above the darkness that once defined them. The narcissist struggle, repeating destructive patterns. In stark contrast, narcissists are trapped in karmic cycles, patterns that keep repeating because they refuse to learn from their mistakes. Narcissists often come from backgrounds where emotional wounds, insecurities, or dysfunctional behaviors were passed down. At the core of human existence, there are two distinct paths that people may follow in life. One that aligns with divine favor and purpose, and the other that seeks external validation to fill an internal void. These two paths often lead to vastly different outcomes, with one bringing fulfillment and growth, while the other leads to emptiness and constant dissatisfaction. Divine favor, Walking in purpose. When someone walks in divine favor, they are guided by a higher calling. This calling is not based on superficial desires, but rather on a deep sense of purpose that aligns with their soul's true mission. Divine favor comes from understanding one's purpose in life and living in alignment with that purpose, knowing that every step taken is part of a bigger plan. The person who is guided by divine favor doesn't seek external recognition or validation because their satisfaction comes from within. Their validation comes from their relationship with their higher self, their spiritual connection, and their alignment with the divine plan. They are driven by the knowledge that they are walking on the path they were meant to walk. They don't need the approval of others to feel fulfilled because their purpose itself provides deep meaning and satisfaction. Divine favor manifests in many ways, often through unexpected opportunities, blessings that come at just the right time, and a sense of peace, even in difficult circumstances. It's not about worldly success or admiration. It's about knowing that one's life is serving a greater good. The chosen one, for instance, walks in divine favor, with their actions and choices guided by a higher purpose that transcends personal gain. People who walk in divine favor are content because they are in harmony with their true selves and their role in the universe. Their sense of worth is not dependent on others' opinions or validation, but rather on their ability to live authentically and fulfill their divine mission. They understand that their worth is inherent, not based on external achievements or praise. Empty validation, craving external admiration. On the other hand, individuals who crave empty validation are often driven by a need for external admiration to fill an inner void. Unlike those who walk in divine favor, these individuals are constantly seeking approval from others to feel good about themselves. Whether it's praise from peers, followers, or societal recognition, they live for the affirmation they receive from the outside world. Empty validation is the feeling of constantly needing others to validate your worth, your actions, and your existence. These individuals may achieve success or gain attention, but it's never enough. They may feel a temporary sense of fulfillment when they receive compliments or admiration, but this feeling quickly fades. The reason for this emptiness is simple. Validation from the outside world is fleeting and superficial. It cannot fill the deeper, more profound needs that exist within. People who rely on external validation often find themselves stuck in a cycle of seeking approval from others, never truly satisfied because they depend on others to define their worth. Their sense of self is fragile and fluctuates with the opinions of others, leading to feelings of insecurity and doubt. This cycle can become addictive as the craving for praise and recognition becomes a constant need. Unlike those walking in divine favor, those who crave empty validation often feel lost and disconnected, as if they are constantly chasing something that remains just out of reach. They may be successful by conventional standards. Maybe they have wealth, status, or a large following, but inside they still feel hollow because they are not connected to a deeper sense of purpose. They are searching for meaning in places that can never provide it. In life, everyone faces struggles. Some are visible, while others remain hidden beneath the surface. The pain that comes from these silent battles often goes unnoticed by the outside world. Silent battles and unseen tears are an inevitable part of the human experience, but the way people navigate through these moments can vary greatly. For many, the pain is just that, pain, something to endure. But for the chosen ones, their suffering becomes a catalyst for transformation and a stepping stone toward greater purpose. The silent battles, unseen struggles. Silent battles refer to the personal, often invisible struggles that no one else may see. These can range from emotional pain and mental health issues to battles with self-doubt, grief, or fear. On the outside, people may seem fine, even successful, but within they are fighting wars that others cannot comprehend. Everyone goes through their own form of silent struggle, and at times it can feel incredibly isolating. For most people, these internal battles are just something they endure. They may suppress their emotions, push through their pain, and can be overwhelming, and for many, it leads to feelings of hopelessness or powerlessness. However, for the chosen ones, these silent battles hold a different significance. The chosen ones, turning pain into purpose. What sets the chosen ones apart is their ability to transform their pain into purpose. The challenges they face are not meaningless struggles, but opportunities for growth, spiritual awakening, and deeper understanding. The pain they experience often feels intense, but they don't simply endure it. They embrace it as part of their divine journey. Chosen ones have a unique ability to find meaning in their suffering. Rather than feeling like victims of circumstance, they see their challenges as tests of strength, resilience, and faith. Every tear they shed becomes a part of their healing process, and every silent battle they face is an opportunity to grow closer to their divine purpose. Suffering is an unavoidable part of life that touches everyone, regardless of their status, background, or character. However, the way individuals respond to suffering varies greatly. For some, suffering serves as a refining fire that shapes them into stronger, wiser versions of themselves. For others, it acts as a destructive force, breaking them down rather than building them up. The difference in how suffering impacts people can often be seen in the contrast between the chosen ones and the narcissist. When the chosen ones, transformation through suffering. The chosen ones are individuals who are deeply connected to a higher purpose, guided by a spiritual mission or calling. They understand that suffering, while painful, is not something to avoid or escape. Instead, they see it as a necessary part of their journey, a test that can strengthen their resolve, deepen their understanding, and refine their character. For the chosen ones, suffering is not seen as an end, but as a means of transformation. It shapes them into the person they are meant to become, testing their faith, patience, and resilience. In the face of adversity, they find meaning and purpose, even in their pain. They embrace their struggles as opportunities for growth, knowing that the challenges they face serve to prepare them for the higher calling that lies ahead. When the chosen ones experience suffering, they often undergo a spiritual awakening, realizing that their pain is not just random, but part of a greater plan. They learn to trust in the divine process, understanding that the difficulties they face are molding them into better versions of themselves. Through suffering, they develop qualities such as empathy, humility, and resilience, traits that not only strengthen their connection to their divine mission, but also enable them to help others who are struggling. In essence, suffering refines the chosen ones by clearing away the distractions, doubts, and ego-driven desires that may have stood in the way of their true purpose. Each trial they face becomes a stepping stone towards spiritual enlightenment and fulfillment. They learn to let go of things that no longer serve them, such as pride, fear, and self-doubt, and embrace a more profound sense of inner peace and purpose. Being chosen is not about status or recognition. It's about a deeper spiritual calling that shapes your life and purpose. But how do you truly know if you're chosen? What's the test that reveals whether you're walking in alignment with your divine purpose? The answer lies not in external validation, but in the challenges and trials you face and how you respond to them. The ultimate test. Endurance in the face of adversity. The ultimate test for the chosen ones is their ability to endure and remain steadfast through immense adversity. This is not about avoiding hardship or seeking an easy path, but rather about staying true to your purpose and maintaining your integrity, faith, and compassion when the world seems to be against you. The chosen ones are called to rise above the noise, the chaos, and the pain. They are tested not by how much they can gain, but by how much they can endure without losing sight of their mission. True strength isn't in the ability to avoid suffering, but in the ability to grow through it. The chosen ones understand that every hardship they face is an opportunity to refine their character, deepen their wisdom, and expand their capacity for love and empathy. The test of isolation, standing alone when it matters. Another key test for the chosen ones is the experience of isolation. Throughout their journey, they often face periods where they are alone, misunderstood, or even rejected. The world may not understand their calling, and others may doubt their purpose. But in these moments of isolation, the chosen ones are tested on their ability to trust in their inner guidance and continue on their path without the approval or validation of others. For the chosen ones, pain is not just something to endure, it is the very fuel that powers their growth, purpose, and transformation. While most people may seek to avoid pain, the chosen ones understand that it is a vital part of their journey. Instead of being consumed by their struggles, they learn to use their pain as a tool to unlock their deepest strength. But how exactly can chosen ones turn their deepest pain into their greatest power? Let's explore this transformative process. Embracing pain as part of the process. The first step for chosen ones is to embrace their pain rather than shy away from it. While it's natural to want to avoid suffering, the chosen ones understand that pain is an integral part of their spiritual evolution. Rather than seeing pain as a sign of weakness or failure, they recognize it as a sign that they are being stretched, tested, and refined for their higher purpose. They allow themselves to feel their emotions fully, giving themselves the grace to grieve, heal, and process. It's through this acceptance of pain that they begin to gain the insight and strength needed to rise above their circumstances. Pain, when acknowledged and processed, becomes a source of wisdom and clarity. This is why the world misunderstands you until your breakthrough comes. If you've ever felt like you don't quite fit in, like the world is looking at you through a lens of confusion, you're not alone. Many people who are destined for something greater often experience misunderstanding from those around them. Friends, family, colleagues. Sometimes it feels like no one can truly see your vision or grasp your purpose. But what if I told you that this misinterpretation is not just inevitable, but a sign of something powerful at work? At times, the world's inability to understand you is a blessing in disguise. It's often the sign of someone destined for a breakthrough, someone whose purpose is beyond what others can see or comprehend in the moment. The reality is that those who are meant to do something extraordinary are rarely recognized at the start. It's only after their breakthrough that the world starts to understand who they really are and what they were meant to achieve. The early struggles. Your journey is unique. In the beginning, it's easy to feel isolated and misunderstood. The world's expectations might seem out of sync with your dreams. While others chase traditional goals, you might be called to pursue something that feels uncertain or unconventional. This disconnect can make you feel like an outsider. You may be misunderstood for your ambitions, your quiet confidence, or even the moments of failure that others don't quite get. But here's the thing, the chosen ones, those destined for greatness, often face the deepest levels of misunderstanding. They're misunderstood because they carry visions and dreams that are far beyond the ordinary scope of everyday thinking. Your struggles, your choices, and even your silent battles might not always make sense to others, but that doesn't mean they're not part of your divine plan. The testing grounds, when you are alone in your vision. During these times of being misunderstood, you are being tested. The challenge isn't just external, it's internal. You're learning to trust your inner calling, even when the world seems to question it. You may feel like you're walking a path that nobody else understands or supports. But in those moments, the breakthrough is already beginning. Every step you take in faith, every decision to follow your own truth, despite the skepticism, is laying the foundation for your future success. This phase is about learning resilience and self-belief. When nobody sees what you're building, when nobody understands the depth of your mission, it's a sign that your journey is unique. It's meant to be that way. Your breakthrough is built on these solitary steps, and every moment of doubt is actually creating a future where you'll be able to look back and say, it was all worth it. The breakthrough. When the world finally sees, the turning point comes when your breakthrough arrives. It's like a shift in perception. Suddenly, the world begins to see you for who you truly are. Not just the person they misunderstood along the way, but the one they couldn't see coming. The breakthroughs, whether personal, professional, or spiritual, begin to align, and everything starts to make sense. Your resilience, your ability to persevere despite doubt, is what makes your breakthrough so powerful. Those who once misunderstood you will see you as an inspiration, even though their recognition comes much later than you may have hoped. The breakthrough is your moment of recognition, not just by others, but by yourself as well. It's the moment you can stand tall and say, I knew this was meant to happen. Why misunderstanding happens? Misunderstanding happens because those around you are not yet ready to see your vision. People often judge what they don't understand, and most people are comfortable with the known and familiar.